Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to France. We're going to be doing Marseille. Okay. And continuing about talking to about Andrew Jackson.
Barcelona, Montpellier, and Dubuque, all gone on a day.
475k. That's almost 20 kilometers per hour.
Without stopping.
You've got 2 hours max before it hits.
Calm down, man. Count your
Voulez-vous français?
Let him stress. It sharpens him up.
You're a piece of shit, Eloise.
But you love me.
across the river. Fort Saint-Jean's looking a little hot.
Good thing we've got nobody in there. Everyone's silent. Damn lurker! Where are you? Too much noise, idiots!
What kind of shoes do I have on? Those got some boots on.
Eyes on the street. Check the pharmacy. Grab what we can and go.
Team 1's last transmission was from the pharmacy.
Their chances of survival are minuscule.
Mr. Blue Sky over here.
Andrew Jackson was born. It's contested. God. It's contested even to this day where he was born specifically. A lot of people say he was born in North Carolina. Some people say he was born in South Carolina. I believe he was born specifically on the border of North and South Carolina. And
Eyes on the pharmacy.
I think he's always considered himself a South Carolinian, but I'm not. It's debated to this day, really.
Moving inside the pharmacy. It's stripped clean. No meds, no survivors.
Search it quickly. Team 2 is already reporting heavy contact.
We've located Marcel Martin's body.
Chris came for meds. Doc said bring back any meds that start with CEF.
You want to talk about a poor president? This guy was growing up. His family, I think, were immigrants from Ireland, and they immigrated there to the United States to that area. His father was like a logger, I think. He had 2 other brothers. The youngest, or was he the second oldest? The youngest. I think he was the youngest. Ends up losing his father right basically when he was born. His father ends up dying because of a logging accident. Some like I think it was because of the weather too, which made things worse or tumultuous for his father when he passed, or contributed to his death. I think is the word I'm trying to. My brain is scrambled right now. That's not helping.
Bastard caught me by surprise. Jeremy, we're checking out the church.
I don't like this. They're
Found
cutting
meds
it
here.
very close.
I can't stand the smell of puke at the base anymore. We're getting the meds.
We don't have enough meds.
But
Not going back until we do. I've got a
grew up very
blood trail
poor,
back.
very
It's
frail, young, small guy. But you want to talk about tough as nails? There's no one tougher than frickin' Andrew Jackson.
The less noise we make,
That dude is like, he's the alpha. So many stories about when he was younger, he would actually get into the fights with much bigger kids, and it would reach a point where like he was just getting thrown around, but he kept coming back up because he was so small. But he's like, you ain't, if you're gonna do that again, like, he's basically just Rocky, you know, like, it's all you got, you know, the embodiment of, in a lot of ways, the American spirit. And he went, God, they're not gonna stop coming, so we're just gonna run for it if we can.
Closer to the northern gate. Is it open?
Only if you hurry.
Run, 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 run. go this way. I don't trust that way. I don't think it mattered. Okay. When he was a young man, he was also one of the last few that actually lived through the revolution and actually participated in the revolution. He was about 14 or 15 at the time, but he was ended up being like a courier kind of person, or mailman, or just like delivering letters to commanding officers and whatnot. One instance, he was, and usually with his younger brother. His older brother went to go fight actually in the war. His older brother dies in the war, unfortunately. Excuse me. And then where do I put this? Is there one up there that I can put it? Really don't want to put it here, but I'll just have to put it here for right now. Crap. No, I don't have a lot of time. And I need a better gun. Oh. That worked out lovely.
Swarm on the street.
Crap. Crap. I am very ill prepared for this section right here. Even on easy mode or in easier difficulty, they can overwhelm you. Marine, what are you doing, girl?
Anyone else enjoying this?
Right, you guys seem like you got it there. Let's actually want that. Oh, well, good to know. Crap. Gotta run. Dare I do it? Oh God.
They shall not pass.
Dare I run away? Yes, running away. Come on. There we go. Come on, you son of a gun. Come on. The most famous story probably during this time was he and his brother ended up getting captured actually by a British officer who not good. Healing. And who actually forces him to try to clean his boot or lick his boot. Sources vary, but generally speaking, it deals with the boot, and not in a very nice way. It's like, you will clean my boot, you scraggler, you know, American rebellion scum kind of thing. Where's the protection people? Oh Lord. God, I love this gun so freaking much. But he really, But he really sorry, the sources vary, but largely deals with Boot, and Andrew Jackson being Andrew Jackson and his alpha self is just like, no, you can go politely in their times, screw yourself, which I'm pretty sure he just said, no, I will not. And then the guy ultimately, which is always confirmed, slashes him with his saber in his hand, in his right hand, I believe, that Andrew Jackson tries to block it with, which leaves a scar for the rest of his life, and is a constant reminder for why he hates the British. But ultimately, he ends up getting captured along with his brother, and they're sentenced to a prisoner's camp with just the worst situations. Again, one of those things where people be like, oh, the British didn't do anything, yada yada. You know what I'm saying? Like their treatment of the colonial soldiers was not very PC. I'll put it that way. And Andrew Jackson ended up being starved, getting sick, a lot of inhumane treatment. His mother is trying to protest a bunch of the stuff, trying to get things going. The war is nearing its end. He eventually does get released, which results in basically just him and his brother. They're basically just given a horse. It's like, oh, you're dying of smallpox and stuff, yada yada. But here's a horse. Good luck to you. And then they basically ride off to their home in South Carolina, whatever, the Carolinas. And again, real murky because I still kind of get confused about where he was specifically. And it's like an arduous ride that goes on for like a day or two, and his brother ends up dying while he's there, and this leads to Andrew Jackson falling ill himself and being nursed and taken care of by his mother, who ends up leaving for a while because she's been asked to go and help with the other soldiers who have gotten sick and are dying, and ends up herself catching whatever they end up catching, and then she ends up dying actually out of state. So when Andrew Jackson recovers from his illness, he quite literally loses everyone he's truly loved and cared about in his entire life, which I'm just saying, I think if we can be empathetic and sympathetic individuals here, regardless of your position on Andrew Jackson, I think it's a fair assessment to say that there are reasons for why that he ultimately is the way that he is, And he's not a heartless man. Let me make that abundantly clear. Quite the opposite, in my personal view of looking at Andrew Jackson, historically speaking. And I would actually argue he's a very loving, truly caring individual and caring president. He just so happens to be someone who does not take BS. And I think people conflate the two sometimes, where it's like, oh, he's a horrible monster. Or he's like he's this horrible monster who doesn't care about the life of them, racist and all that. Like, no, that's literally not Andrew Jackson at all. He's quite literally just someone who sees a square, knows it's a square, and is going to call it a square for what it is. And, he did not care about your race, creed, religion, whatever. He did not give a rat's ass about it. Oh, but he owned slaves. And it's like, yeah, a lot of people did. Slavery was a thing. White people and black people. And no one wants to talk about black people owning white people, It's always been a historical aspect of the thing, but, he didn't treat his slaves any worse or better than the next person, Especially his contemporaries at the time, who were just as arduous in terms of their ownership of slaves, and, well, let's just say the complicated nature of it. People don't want to talk about it because it just makes everyone look bad. Yeah, you want to talk about slaves, then you should talk about the Arab slave trade, which doesn't look very good. Talk about all slave trade and be fair and equal when it comes to how it ends up getting measured in not only this country but around the world. Regardless of the fact, Andrew Jackson, once he recovers, becomes truly a very sad, depressed individual for the next couple years of his life, where it's like, how do you rebuild from this? How do you build anything? And family, friends ultimately end up helping him in a lot of ways, in a lot of these aspects, thankfully. Really just help him get his shit together, you know, more or less. Of course they're going to change things up on me. This game's real sneaky like that. God, this is not going to end well, is it?
They're here! Light them up! Inspector is gone.
Okay, this is not going to end well.
It's open! Boss, there's shitloads of guns in here!
Team 3, get those boxes to the front. We cannot lose, my guys.
Up here. Get the boxes to the van.
John, the locker is open!
Eventually, Andrew Jackson does overcome a lot of the difficulties in his life, and again, he's one of these presidents who, like, his life is just so much more fascinating than his presidency. But his presidency is also difficult too, because his presidency is just as fascinating as well. You know, you want to talk about a real strange historical figure. Oop, wrong area. You know, talk about Andrew Jackson basically helping influence and help create the idea of what Tennessee is today, you know? That's Andrew Jackson. Boy, bro, stop with this nonsense, people. Zombies, do you not have any chill, bro? He eventually does leave, and he ends up going to, just dipping, okay. He ends up, just leaving and, immigrating westward towards where now Tennessee is, largely. Ends up, helping stave off the Indian tribes and whatnot, because he's just Andrew Jackson, and he does whatever Andrew Jackson does, because he's just badass. Ends up, I think, going to where Nashville is, I believe, and creating the settlement that is Nashville. Does a lot of things there. He gets married to his wife, who he deeply loves, like, and a woman who went through a lot of difficult times, abusive relationship, abusive marriage, and basically, he saw her as someone that he was going to protect until the day he died. That's how much he loved that woman. So much so that one of the best stories about Andrew Jackson was the famous duel that he was a part of, illegal at the time. And which is even crazier because, from my understanding, I think he is the only president who is confirmed to have actually killed a man. And for sure killed a man in cold blood. Teddy Roosevelt goes back and forth of whether or not he's actually killed someone in action, so I can't trust that. During the Spanish-American War, and the Rough Riders and all that, it's not confirmed with him, but Andrew Jackson is 100% confirmed. And when we get back to part 2 of the France episode, I will detail specifically what happened and what transpired, and largely how Andrew Jackson became president. Alright, stay tuned, folks. Welcome back, part 2 of France.
Megamind. What do you got for us?
Bridge is too exposed. Hill is too steep. We go through town.
Ah, fuck that! It's full of Zeke! No, he's right. The town has a stone cutting factory with a lift.
It'll take us right up to the fort. Swarm must be close now. Let's make this fast. Going stealth. Strays dead ahead.
So Andrew Jackson had bet a man,
Reload.
whatever, it might have been like a horse race or something along those lines, and whatever happened, the guy lost, and instead of just saying nothing, he was just like, hey, your wife's a slut or something like that, and like, cantankerous whore or something along those lines. And you know, Andrew Jackson does not take kindly to people that he loves when you besmirch their name and their honor. Like, Andrew Jackson is the definition of a ride or die kind of individual.
Hello, beautiful.
And he challenges the man to a duel, which the man stupidly agrees. This leads to
Better than nothing.
yeah, why not?
Screamer! That's enough out of you! You hear that? Lurker!
Where are you, bro? I know he's hunting for me. Probably around here. Nope.
Fork in the road, left or right?
Does it really matter?
Target the locker!
Good riddance.
I don't like these guns, especially in this game. Reload time is just atrocious. I have to change back soon. Relentless. He challenges the man to a duel. They agree. They go to a place, and sources vary. Yeah, he's that weak sauce. Sources vary, though, on how it actually occurs. But one thing is agreed. They do the paces. The guy, they turn, and only one shoots. The guy shoots Andrew Jackson square in the chest. People say he's just stood there and took it. Some say he fell and was helped up. I'd like to think that the frail Andrew Jackson took the bullet like a champ and then just fell to the ground and then got back up, being like, oh,
They need you at
is
the
that all
base.
you got? Ugh. Which, by the way, he has a bullet in his chest until the day he died. And by dueling rules, since Andrew Jackson didn't shoot, the guy had to stand there and just take it, basically. You know, just, you're gonna die. And Andrew Jackson aims his shot, shoots the man in cold blood. Don't talk crap about his loved ones. That's all. That's the lesson that's learned here, people. And he ends up basically just killing the man outright, cold blood, savage. And I think, at least on one hand, people are like, "Oh, that's brutal," but I think most people would probably be like, "You know what? I get it." Especially nowadays, I'm just like, you know what? Eye for an eye. Like, that's, you learned your lesson. And I mean, it cost you your life, but you know, it is what it is. You chose to mess with Andrew Jackson, and you literally bit the bullet. So Andrew Jackson basically plants his roots in He basically plants his roots in Tennessee, creates his life there, businesses, etc., etc. Ends up actually being a part of the Tennessee Supreme Court, and basically people just love Andrew Jackson. They're just like, It's my boy right here. This is the dude. He's the alpha, bro. We want Andrew Jackson, and a lot of people are worried about this because they think of him as kind of this insane, monstrous kind of individual who, you know, killed a man in cold blood, which is fair. But this very same end of the spectrum, it's
50 cal ready to rip.
he's not liking and seeing what's going on with, you know, Congress, with what's happening with the country, the financial difficulties that are happening all across the country, that, and largely his issue was the first bank of the United States that Alexander Hamilton ended up creating, which some people attribute, and I would actually probably agree with that sentiment. It's kind of like a bit of a unique version of the Federal Reserve in a lot of ways. You know, businesses can largely, the only difference is I think it's more so based off of, financially speaking, our gold reserves. You know, it wasn't like inflationary like the Federal Reserve is, where they can just print money wildly. But it was something similar to that, at least to a very small and certain degree, which led a lot of dysfunction within the country because a lot of people are moving westward, and they are creating, you know, a lot of debt that isn't going to be sufficiently paid and whatnot. Where does this even go? Ah, right there. Okay. A lot of debts getting created, and a lot of people aren't paying back those debts, and it's because they really can't, because unfortunately when people don't have money to spend, it leads to a bunch of difficulties and a lot of difficult problems.
They shall not.
Come get some! Oh God.
Anyone else enjoying this? Catch this. The lift, stop moving.
Control panel around here.
But I think part of it too is he saw the South in particular really getting screwed over by it. You know, you want to talk about the beginnings of like the Civil War and the North and South issues. A lot of it really starts here, and it's because I think to a certain degree the North is not willing to listen to the concerns of the South when it comes to the economic realities of how things were. And it's part of it's slavery, but it's also because like Northerners were more about trade internationally, really, than anything else. And Southerners were more like, we're going to grow crops and we're going to go and do this. And when you guys put all these tariffs into various different countries, it makes things a lot more difficult for us to actually produce things. I'm getting my words tied. Basically, it was just financially difficult for the South to actually be able to maintain the same level of financial security that, say, the Northerners probably had. I'm going to go back there again in just a second. What are you guys doing?
They shall not pass.
Let me get these guys real quick. One more time. Okay.
I'm not even tired.
Refilled it.
I need a shower.
Next time. Protect our heinies. Because they are coming, fam.
Somebody hit the button.
They are coming. Do I have to push a button? I do have to push a button.
Ready to roll.
Silly me. So Andrew Jackson begrudgingly throws his hand in the ring into the presidency, or allows his hand to be thrown into the ring, and he's immediately just incredibly popular. People love him. They want him to become the president. They see him as the obvious choice for the People's Party in a lot of ways. It was the burgeoning beginnings of the Democratic Party. This ends up catapulting him up whatever polls you want to look at, and they're just like, oh, gonna have this roughhousing become the next president of the United States. This cannot be, and we will not allow this. So as I detailed before, the contested election of 1824, this leads to them quite literally just going and doing everything they quite literally can in order to get Andrew Jackson to not become the next president of the United States of America. He loses that election. And let's just say, if you learn anything about Andrew Jackson, just don't screw with him. Don't screw him over. Just be fair and honest, and we'll all have a fun, fantastic time. But they didn't agree with that sentiment.
Did everyone survive?
And let's just say things were not looking too good. What ends up happening, though, is yeah, give me that.
Is the missile system operational?
What ends up happening, though, is Andrew Jackson, he goes back to the drawing board, more focused than ever at this point. He's just like, you know what? Nah,
What's your name, man?
you ain't gonna play me like that.
Gaspar, when this is over, we need you to provide missile cover for Marseille. Can you do that?
Absolutely. Here.
Missiles. Which is understandable. God.
Someone shoot this damn thing!
Nobody likes to get screwed over, especially in that particular way.
Too close.
In particular, people who you believe to be your contemporaries, you know.
Sensors ready to install. Time to fry some zinc.
This part's pretty cool. Now we gotta destroy a bunch of things. Although this part is just incredibly difficult because they don't actually give you, like, kind of just guessing when you aim. Let's see if I can get it. Let's try here. I think you get 3 shots. Oh, I'm way too far off. Okay. I was way off on that one. Oh. Oh god.
Why aren't the missiles in the launcher yet? Get in here! How?
Heal, 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 heal.
Not dead yet.
Oh no. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, we'll come back to this part soon. Try again later. Later, y'all. Alright, welcome back. Let's try this one more time. Round 2. Hopefully it doesn't freeze up, and hopefully we can actually play this game and finish this level. On the bright side, you know what is to come.
All right, Megamind. What do you got right. The town has a stone cutting factory with a lift.
It'll take us right up to the fort. Swarm must be close now. Let's
Now,
make
the
this
election of 1828, a little bit different this time. The Democrat Party has largely, in 4 years, just completely dominated everything. North and south. And just, I mean, they're everywhere, basically. Consolidated with the likes of Martin Van Buren. For the life of me, I can't think of his first vice president. As you can see, all I can think about is presidents right now. I can't think of the guy. It's 3 guys that are largely credited with creating the Democratic Party. Is it John C. Calhoun? I think it's Calhoun, Van Buren, and Andrew Jackson. They've largely guarded all the support, brought all the people together, and the brainchild, I think, is largely Martin Van Buren. Yeah, John C. Calhoun. Now I'm actually thinking about it. Another unique political force of this particular time and era of the South, and very deeply fascinating human being. Also, shut up. God. Help! 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 Oh God, help me, people! For the love of Christ Almighty! Long story short, though, he is the Martin Van Buren, specifically the brainchild, who is the number 8th president, and we'll get to eventually. But they largely just take power. They rally up everyone and just used all their political influence that they humanly have, and you know, they were basically like reaching to the masses of the population to push forth their agenda. And that, by the way, is the creation of the Democratic Party, which people tend to forget. But it's largely created specifically, not necessarily as a party of democracy, it's just in name only. But just largely more so just the idea of the specific branch of the Jeffersonian ideals. We're gonna kind of just go back to that instead of this bloated government that finds excuses to largely create itself.
And reanimated dead people.
Two reasons too, by the way. Imagine having a lot of money being printed like crazy and devaluing the dollar, which is making things a lot more difficult. You know, they had just as bad inflationary processes as we did back then that we do now. You know, it's just as bad, and yeah, let's just end that nonsense. But because of that, because of their smart willingness to go against the grain of the First National Bank, which created a lot of problems in a lot of different ways, Andrew Jackson won and garnered a lot of support. You know, I mean, sure, people were uneducated, but you know, a lot of them were much more forward thinking in a lot of ways, in the sense of just, you know, we know that this is dumb, we know that this is not how it's supposed to go. It's like, there's only so much you can do, and so often that you can lie to people before they just start saying, you know, kind of BS. And Democrats, battle rifle, good enough. And Democrats were largely feeling the brunt in the face of it, unfortunately for them. Or not Democrats, Democrat Republicans, or the establishment party, I guess you could say at that time, was largely feeling the brunt of it. This is stationary.
Time to fry some Zeke. Got some defenses.
I think we're good. We'll figure it out. I'm gonna keep this one right here, although I'm probably not gonna use it too often. But we'll see. Let them come. Make this cinematic as heck. Good lord.
Those giant souls could be fun.
Here comes the heady. They shall not pass.
Yeah, let's stop that from happening. Here they come, son.
Anyone else enjoying this?
Do 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 do. I'm gonna have to. It's okay. It's gonna have to restart that thing in just a little bit.
Heads down. They shall not pass. The lift, stop moving.
It must have tripped the safety brake. Find them.
No bueno.
I got it. The lift's moving again. They're getting up.
Knock it. Knock it.
Anyone else enjoying this?
Fire that.
Frag grenade. They shall
Lord.
not pass.
Y'all don't know bad touch. Yep, we are. We're just gonna run. Just running.
I need a shower.
Oh lord.
It's not going to move until we hit the button. Ready to roll.
Now, if you want to see like a genuine shellacking, look no further than the election of 1828, which is just one of the single most lopsided victories of all time. Excuse me.
March will be straight ahead.
Up there with the likes of like FDR. I think Eisenhower had one or two. Certainly a couple of Reagan victories, which are difficult to really parse out in terms of just how polls and analytics ultimately work. But Andrew Jackson becomes the seventh president of the United States of America. And to explain his two terms, it's two things. One, just let me start by saying when he does go for his re-election bid, it's just unanimous. Like, he's just the guy. You know, he's the next he's just a great political figure of his era and time, and it's just not even a contest, you know. No, they can wait.
Sensors ready to install.
It's like no one wants to mess with Andrew Jackson for numerous different reasons. Wonder why. I can pick these up already. Sweet.
Everybody else okay?
Nope. Of course.
You hear that? There must be
Of course.
Is your missile system functioning?
Put that. Huh? Just gonna go load this up. Get some more ammo. Probably, potentially a better
Stay here.
gun.
Tell us what to do.
Yes, of course. We're gonna take that.
We stole them around the fort.
What's your name?
Gaspar.
All right, Gaspard. We'll get you through this. Then you will give us missile cover on Marseille.
Now, his presidency is largely characterized by, I would say, 3 or 4 things.
Who's got the
Um,
missiles and why?
Contentious political opposition that actively is trying to undermine him in every sense of the word, and just cataclysmically failing in just about every single way that you could just visibly imagine. Like, I mean, everything that they throw at him, it just brushes off because they don't have the same level of support that Andrew Jackson does. He has the support of the people. They want him. He's done, and his presidency is largely him just doing whatever his constituencies and just the people ultimately want. Yep. I think I'm in the right spot though, gentlemen. See where I'm at. Yep, I'm way too out of position for that one.
Load up another one. There he is.
Panic there for a second, sorry.
I've got missiles making a run for the turret. All tubes loaded.
So I was way off. I think I got the height down. Let's see if I can. Good enough.
Down the cliff.
Damn. Just gotta go up a little bit and then go out, and I think I'll be good. Gaspard's being Gaspard. Bro, where are you even coming from?
Arm those launchers now.
Turret.
About to get attacked, I just know it. There you are.
For the turret.
Yep. I hope this game doesn't glitch out again.
Why aren't the missiles in the launcher yet?
Ooh, I think we're right on it. Oof, man. Perfect. Boom! And that's how you stop them.
Gaspard.
Go. We'll take it from here.
Thank
Hold
God.
them back as long as we can.
I'll wait for your signal. Then
Did not want to have to do this level a 3rd time.
Yeah, that's just weird, man.
I've been up here a long time.
We'll continue with Andrew Jackson soon. We're going to stop this part and then do the final section of the French Resistance. Alright, welcome back. We're going to do the part 3 of episode 5, The Last Bastion. We're going to be doing a whole fortress level, basically.
Jeremy, we're just inside the northern gate. Is the charge set?
It is. Listen, guys, in case this doesn't work,
Whoa.
Yeah, if anyone's ever been to Europe, I'll give them this. Their architecture is just wonderful, beautiful, and I can't say enough good things about it.
Serious.
It's gonna work.
of course. Fuel truck's just outside the fence. Let's make a moat.
Alright, here we go. Oh, probably just drop down here.
I see the tanker. Reload. Heads down.
Check the fire, asshole!
Yeah, Andrew Jackson as a president can be characterized by a bunch of different things, but largely speaking, I would personally say 3 or 4 things. One is just him staving off the political, I guess, just fighting that's going on within several houses, the antagonistic section of the political wing, which basically anyone that was antagonistic towards the Democratic Party consolidated power largely into another new party, which is known as the Whig Party. Now, they were nowhere near as strong, as competent, or had the same vigor, and largely didn't really do much, especially in the early goings of its existence. Let's prepare this properly, fam.
Our grid is
But they
switched on.
were doing everything they possibly could and trying to do everything they could to stop Andrew Jackson. And the problem is that he's Andrew Jackson. You're not stopping anything. He's just gonna do what he wants to do and do what he thinks is right for the country. Which, oof, that absolutely pissed him off. Where does this go? Let's see how this goes.
They're coming! From the university building!
Oh God, here they come.
Anyone else enjoying this?
We're holding them. Seems to be pretty good. But the Whigs are becoming a thing. They're becoming a relative political force. I don't even say a political force. They're basically just anyone that doesn't like Andrew Jackson, which tended to be, unfortunately for them, much more of the rich, aristocratic kind of class, the kind of people that just make you go ick a little bit. Definitely didn't help their ideological and or political prospects, I think. Actually hurt more than anything else. Which leads to Andrew Jackson winning a decisive second term. I mean, even if they did consolidate power properly and did things properly, Andrew Jackson was just a completely different beast that I don't think they were ever truly ready for.
We'll check it out.
I need a shower.
Report on me.
Anyone else enjoying
Beautiful.
this?
This is what I'd like to see. This is the way to go. This is the way. Now we have to go and investigate the sewers. That's gonna be fun. I forgot if this was in this section or the Italian section, but I remember one sewer level just being just absolute chaos. God, this game's fun. Love it. I really want them to do a sequel to this game. I'm hoping that they do and do more levels and do different countries, places that haven't been sufficiently explored. Maybe like an Africa level or two. I think that'd be kind of interesting. Or maybe like an actual Korean level, especially like, you know, Train to Busan kind of thing going on. Oop, shoot. Crap. Yeah, this worked out. Alright, people. Leave us alone. Yeah, Raul's got the right idea.
Come on, Lady Luck.
Now, number 2 was the, other than the political process, it's him really trying to, I don't want to say deregulate everything, that's not the right word, but deregulate a lot of the things, so a lot of people had a lot more power, a lot less taxes, made government far more efficient with people's money, which it ultimately ended up being incredibly efficient, which people don't want to give Andrew Jackson any credit for. By the way, when he leaves office, he actually paid off our national debt to $0, by the way. People don't want to talk about that. And people refuse to give him any credence or credit for that, which is bizarre to me. It's like, hey, I just did it. You know, we all have the national debt. When he left office, it was $0. Just put that into perspective. He paid it off, and it wasn't like a small sum of money, mind you. Especially for that particular time and era. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't, you know, trillions of dollars, for instance, but you know, that's just an insurmountable amount of money that's just going to be hard for anyone to deal with. Sewer is defended. Now we have to go and find the hole that is getting them in, which is apparently over here. Oof.
You're right. Thank you.
What's going on down there?
Found the breach
Yeah.
in the tunnel, wide open.
You can find explosives in the armory.
Oh, we're gonna go on an adventure. Blow this sucker up.
There's a
Which he
flashlight.
does with,
Somebody grab it.
obviously, just a tremendous amount of pushback, mind you.
Got the flashlight.
But the
Let's go.
flashlight, what is this? This classic battle rifle. Ugh, I don't like this at all, people. So much so that, you know, he starts interfering with things that are the goings-ons, and actually gets into a bunch of shouting matches with his own vice president, John C. Calhoun, because he's starting to overstep his boundaries, and they actually have a contentious relationship from that point on. John C. Calhoun, one of the creators of the Democratic Party, ends up, oh crap. Actually, I think eventually leaving the party because of Andrew Jackson.
Stay down. Infector, it's dark as fuck down here.
Which I don't know if Martin Van Buren knew was going to happen, but if he did, bravo on him. As a political, you know, just intellectual, I guess you could say. He ends up becoming the eventual vice president in the second term of Andrew Jackson. My goodness. Again, I think the quality of the level design of this game, personally for me, I think is very well done. It's not perfect, don't get me wrong, but I can absolutely praise this game for a lot of the goodness that it has been able to produce.
Got a better place to store them?
I see a lurker! Lurker's dead!
Gosh. Good lord. Run, 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 run. Just kinda gonna go. Oh, that's a lot of rats. They will eat you up, man. They still chasing me? Oh god. Oh god. This is what I wanted to avoid. People, help me. Good lord.
That was close.
Say, y'all don't like me.
Close.
Okay, just run.
Reloading here!
Run, 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 run. And especially run before they start coming.
Set!
Almost there. Find the detonator and set them off.
Beautiful. Now the breach is stopped. Now we can go back to the top side and figure out how to stop all this. And figure out how to get back to a place of just goodness. Chill vibes.
What have you got for me?
The good vibes.
Better than nothing. Fingers on triggers.
Now, Andrew Jackson's other issues tended to be with the the First National Bank, or the federal bank, that was creating a lot of inflationary policies, which benefited the federal government, obviously. But this just created a difficult system, and Andrew Jackson believed this is no bueno. We can't continue like this, and if we continue like this, this is only going to make things far more difficult for us. Oh god. As a country and for the people. This led to him actively attacking the First National Bank and going as far as to try to discredit it, destroy it. The person who was in charge of the First National Bank, I should say, they did not get along very well. This led to a deeply contentious relationship between the two of them. But ultimately, he got it done. You know, after his second term, I think he got it done. Now, I think primarily his what he was trying to accomplish with his second term, primarily. And then the third thing was, I think one can argue. Oh, definitely not start that. God. That's not what I wanted to do, but okay. Well, I have to deal with it then. Yeah, it's a little late for this, but let's see if we can try to get some in. God. And I think I need to talk about the character a little bit of Andrew Jackson before we finish with his life and legacy. He was a deeply caring and actually objectively loving man. I personally believe that. I think he loved harder than anyone and cared about people on a human level. You know, when you lose so many people in your life to, you know, especially in the way that he did, you know, it makes you think about the very fragile nature of it. And there's one instance where he's defending one of the cabinet members' wives who had a very sultry reputation, which led to a lot of people in Congress basically just being like, ooh, let's not associate ourselves with this degenerate, you know. And he defended her to his dying breath, aggressively so, maddeningly. Like I said, he's a real one. He gets it. He understood it more than anything. If you're good, Andrew Jackson, he was going to be good to you. Obviously, I didn't win him any favors in Congress, but that's not what he was always about. He was probably the first president that did not objectively care about his overall position or what people even remotely cared about. He was always about, let's just do the right thing and get the right people in charge and do what we're supposed to be doing, you know. In fact, people forget, and it's always never brought up. It's like, oh, he's this racist person. It's like, okay, well, he also adopted a lot of people, including 2 Native American children, mind you. In fact, one of the stories about him during the Battle of New Orleans, which I completely skipped over, by the way. I'm very sorry about that. This dude's an alpha. No one messes with him. Which the Battle of New Orleans is completely important, because if you don't have the Battle of New Orleans, then I think Great Britain continues its conquest of the United States, which he got just a rabble-rousing group of pretty much everybody. Blacks, whites, Native Americans, Spanish, you got everyone involved, because they were like, oh, screw Great Britain, we're going to take these suckers down, and leads one hell of a charge that, like, the KD ratio on it is, like, literally 20 to 1, and they just destroy the British in every conceivable way. Yeah, he still has that scar to remind him, hey, British, you can go screw yourselves. And ultimately ends up just destroying them. But one of the stories there is actually how he adopted his first Native American son. Basically, he sees what the British have done. The mother died of this Native American child, and a bunch of the women who are part of that tribe refused to take care of it. And Andrew Jackson sees this, and he's just like, what the hell's the matter with you? You didn't do anything about it? And then they said no, they're going to leave that baby basically defend for himself to die. And he's just like, well, screw that. Takes the baby, brings the little one to his wife, which then they take care of and adopt him. One of 2 Native American children that Andrew Jackson adopts. And which people forget. Ooh, look at that, fam. Look at that. And that's how you do it.
Absolutely.
In the machine room, hypothetically, just leave your shoes outside.
I'm burning mine.
And I think specifically the final thing, which I'll get to probably in the next part, to be honest with you, has to do with the Trail of Tears, which Martin Van Buren did, but I'll probably just do it real quickly, actually. There's a bunch of conflict going on in Florida, with the Spanish and the native tribes. Basically, if they don't leave, the Spanish were going to completely wipe out this tribe. And the only resolution that Andrew Jackson could come up with is, hey, you guys got to leave, got to go to the Midwest, or your tribe will be destroyed. In which case, actually, a lot of documents support that the natives were actually okay with it for the most part, and that it's historically looked at as bad. In fact, one of the native writers thanked him for saving his tribe. But anyways, that's the end of France. Hope you guys like and enjoy. God bless. Like and subscribe.